The trade station called Meridian Drift floated between three-star lanes like a patient listener. Ships from many worlds came and went, carrying metal, grain, stories, and quiet fears. Humans were new here compared to the old empires, but they had learned how to walk softly and speak clearly. One of those humans was Elias Rowe. Elias was a diplomat, though he did not look important. He wore a plain jacket, carried a small data slate, and moved with the careful steps of someone who watched more than he spoke. He had learned that in the wider galaxy, humans were often ignored unless they caused trouble. Elias preferred being ignored. That day he noticed her because everyone else did. She stood near the central promenade, where lights curved like a river above the market floor. The alien woman was not shouting or performing. She did not sell anything. She simply stood, calm and still, as if the noise bent around her. Many species glanced at her and then away again, confused by their own attention. Elias felt the same pull, though he could not explain why. Her species was unfamiliar to him. She was tall, with skin that held a soft silver tone like moonlight on water. Her eyes were dark and steady, and her clothing was simple, almost old-fashioned by galactic standards. There were no symbols of rank, no visible weapons, no guard beside her. And yet people slowed when they passed her. Some stared too long and then laughed, trying to turn their interest into a joke. Others whispered. A few aliens from powerful empires looked openly dismissive, as if deciding she was unimportant. Elias watched quietly. He had learned that first judgments were often wrong. He approached with care, stopping at a respectful distance. "Excuse me," he said in basic trade language. "Are you waiting for someone?" She turned to him at once, as if she had known he would speak. Her gaze met his, and for a moment Elias felt a strange sense of recognition, like hearing a song remembered from childhood. "I am," she said. Her voice was calm and clear. "Though perhaps not in the way you mean." Elias nodded. "This station can be confusing the first time." "I have been here before," she replied. That surprised him. "Then you know the customs." "I know many things about humans," she said, studying him, "more than most expect." Elias smiled politely, though his curiosity grew. "That's not hard," he said. "Most expect very little from us." Her lips curved slightly, not quite a smile. "Yes, that is the story the galaxy tells itself." Before Elias could reply, a loud voice cut through the air. "Move aside," a tall reptilian alien barked, pushing past a group of traders. He wore the colors of a dominant empire, one known for its control of key star routes. Two guards followed him, armored and armed. The reptilian glanced at the woman and sneered. "You're blocking the way." She did not move. "I said move," he repeated, annoyance sharpening his tone. Elias felt tension ripple through the nearby crowd. Conflicts on Meridian Drift were rare but dangerous. He opened his mouth to speak, but the woman lifted one hand slightly. "I am not in your way," she said softly. "You are simply impatient." The guard stiffened. The reptilian's eyes narrowed. "Do you know who I am?" She nodded once. "Yes." "And you still speak like that?" "Yes." For a heartbeat, Elias thought violence would follow. Instead, something unexpected happened. The reptilian hesitated. His posture shifted, not forward but back, as if some instinct warned him. He snorted. "This station allows too much nonsense," he muttered, turning away. The guards followed, though they looked unsettled. The crowd slowly relaxed, murmurs rising again. Elias stared after the departing aliens, then back at the woman. "That was unusual," he said. She looked at him. "Was it?" "Yes," Elias replied honestly. "Most people don't back down from them." "Most people believe the stories they are told," she said, "even about themselves." They walked together along the promenade, the station's artificial sky shifting colors above them. Elias found himself matching her pace without thinking. "My name is Elias," he said. "I represent the human coalition." "I know," she replied. He blinked. "You do." "I know your voting patterns, your trade disagreements, and the names of your lost colonies," she said calmly. I know how often humans choose compromise when others choose force. Elias stopped walking. That's detailed knowledge. She stopped too and faced him fully. "Do you recognize me?" she asked. He searched his memory. "No," he said slowly. "I don't think so." She studied his face, then nodded. "That is understandable." An alarm suddenly echoed through the station. Lights shifted to warning colors. The hum of conversation turned into sharp voices and hurried movement. A station announcement followed. "Attention! All delegates remain in designated areas. An unauthorized fleet has entered the outer perimeter." Elias' heart sank. Unauthorized fleets were never a good sign. He activated his slate. "That's not scheduled," he muttered. "No one cleared a military arrival." The woman did not look surprised. She looked ready. From the viewport at the end of the hall, ships became visible. Long, angular vessels marked with the symbols of the same empire as the reptilian alien. Too many ships for a simple visit. Elias felt a familiar frustration. "They do this often," he said. "Show strength, test reactions." "What will the humans do?" she asked. "We'll call for talks," Elias replied. "We always do. And if talks fail," he hesitated, "then we endure." She considered that. "You endure more than you should." Before Elias could ask what she meant, his communicator buzzed. A priority message flashed across his slate. "Human delegates are requested in Council Chamber 3 immediately," he sighed. "That's me." She turned toward the chamber as well. "Then I will come." "I'm not sure you're cleared. They will not stop me," she said gently, and she was right. Security glanced at her and then at Elias and chose not to interfere. Inside the council chamber, tension filled the air like static. Representatives from many species argued in overlapping voices. The reptilian alien from earlier stood near the center, clearly pleased. "The station has violated neutral space agreements," he declared. "We are here to enforce order." The human representative from another sector whispered angrily to Elias, "This is intimidation." Elias nodded and stepped forward. "The meridian drift is neutral," he said clearly. "Your fleet has no authority here," the reptilian laughed. "Authority is taken, not given." Before Elias could respond, the woman moved beside him. "This ends now," she said. The chamber fell silent. Every eye turned to her. The reptilian stared, stunned. "Who are you to speak here?" She looked at him, her expression calm but heavy with meaning. "I am someone your empire chose to forget." Murmurs spread through the room. Elias felt a chill run through him. "You will withdraw your fleet," she continued. "Not because I ask, but because the galaxy is changing." The reptilian recovered enough to sneer. "Empty words." She raised her hand and the chamber screens activated without command. Symbols appeared, ancient and unmistakable to many present. Gasps echoed. Elias recognized none of them, but he recognized the reaction. Fear, respect, shock. "That mark," whispered an avian delegate, "it hasn't been seen in generations." The reptilian's face drained of color. "Impossible," he said. "Nothing is impossible when patience outlasts arrogance," she replied. Elias looked at her, realization dawning. "Your royalty," he breathed. She met his gaze. "I am a queen," she said, "and humanity is under my protection." The chamber erupted in chaos. Outside, the unauthorized fleet began to change formation, engines turning away from the station. Elias stood frozen, mind racing. The woman he had spoken with like a stranger now stood revealed as something far greater. She leaned closer to him and spoke softly so only he could hear. "Do you recognize me now?" she asked. Elias swallowed. "I recognize what you represent," he said. She smiled, and for the first time it was warm. "That will be enough," she said. And as the fleet withdrew and the council struggled to understand what had just happened, Elias realized that humanity's place in the galaxy was about to change forever. The council chamber took a long time to return to order. Voices rose and fell, translators struggled to keep pace, and security officers stood tense at every exit. The unauthorized fleet was gone, but the shock it left behind remained. Elias Rowe stood near his seat, his thoughts still catching up with reality. A queen. Not just any queen, but one whose symbol had caused an entire empire to retreat without a single shot. The woman stood calmly at the center of the chamber, hands folded, her posture relaxed. She did not look like someone who had just shifted the balance of power. She looked like someone who had expected it. Finally, the station moderator struck the sound marker. Silence slowly returned. "By the laws of meridian drift," the moderator said carefully, "you have identified yourself as a sovereign authority. You are requested to state your name and domain." The woman inclined her head. "I am Queen Erin of the Luminara Conquered." The reaction was immediate. Delegates leaned forward. Some gasped. Others whispered urgently to their aides. Elias searched his memory. He had read that name once, buried deep in historical archives. The Luminara Conquered was believed to be a fallen civilization, erased during early expansion wars. "You were declared extinct," said an insectoid delegate, voice trembling. "We were declared inconvenient," Queen Erin replied evenly, "so the galaxy chose a simpler story." Elias felt something tighten in his chest. Humans knew that story well. The moderator hesitated. "Your intervention prevented conflict. For that, the station is grateful. However, your claim regarding humanity requires clarification." Queen Erin turned slightly toward Elias. "Humans were never meant to be warriors in the way the galaxy understands," she said. "They were meant to be catalysts." All eyes moved to the human delegates. Elias cleared his throat. "With respect," he said, "humanity has no knowledge of any formal alliance with the Luminara Conquered." "That is correct," she said, "because you were never asked to serve. You were allowed to choose." She raised her hand again and the chamber screens changed. Images appeared, old star charts, faded records, forgotten missions. "Long before humanity reached interstellar strength," she continued, "your explorers crossed our hidden borders. They were lost, afraid, and vastly outmatched." Elias watched the images of early human ships, crude by modern standards. "They expected capture," Queen Erin said. "Instead, they offered trade, stories, music. They repaired what they could and asked nothing in return." A soft murmur spread through the chamber. "One of your captains refused to take our resources," she added. "He said, 'We don't take what isn't freely given.'" That idea spread faster than any weapon. Elias recognized the quote. It was taught in human exploration ethics. The Queen continued, "When the empires came for us, we remembered that lesson. We survived by adapting, hiding, and learning, and we watched humanity grow." A reptilian delegate slammed a claw on the table. "You claim humans changed your fate, yet they did nothing when your worlds fell." "They did not conquer in our name," Queen Erin said calmly. "That was their greatest gift." The room fell quiet again. Elias felt the weight of attention pressing on him. He stood straighter. "If this is true," he said, "why reveal yourself now?" Her gaze softened. "Because the galaxy is no longer content to ignore you, and because humans still believe they are alone." She turned back to the chamber. "The lie that humans are weak has been useful to those who fear what humans become when united." At that moment, Elias' slate chimed with an urgent message. Human colonies along the outer routes were reporting increased inspections. Trade lanes were being pressured. "They're testing us," Elias muttered. "Yes," Queen Erin said quietly, "and this time they expect you to break." She stepped closer to the human delegation. "You will not." A human senator leaned toward Elias. "We didn't ask for this," she whispered. Elias nodded. "But we may need it." The session ended without formal resolution. Delegates left in uneasy silence. Outside the chamber, Queen Erin walked beside Elias again as if nothing had changed. "You planned this," Elias said. "I prepared for it," she corrected. "There is a difference." They stopped near a viewport. Stars drifted slowly beyond the glass. "The galaxy sees humans as slow," she said, "but slow roots crack stone." Elias smiled faintly. "That's poetic. It's accurate." Suddenly, the station lights flickered. An emergency alert sounded. "Attention," the announcement said. "Multiple fleets are altering course toward Meridian Drift." Elia's heart pounded. "They're not retreating anymore." Queen Erin watched the stars. "No, they are choosing sides." Elias looked at her. "And what happens to humans if they choose against us?" She turned to him fully. "Then humanity will finally be seen." Outside, ships emerged from hyperspace, not one empire but many. Some bore hostile markings. Others displayed unfamiliar symbols. Elias realized something important. "Those aren't just fleets," he said. "They're allies." "Yes," Queen Erin replied. "Worlds inspired by what humans showed them: cooperation, stubborn hope, refusal to kneel." The station shook slightly as defensive systems powered up. Elias took a steady breath. "We didn't train for this." "No," she said. "You lived for it." As the galaxy gathered around them, Elias understood the truth forming before his eyes. Humanity was no longer background noise. It was the signal. And the galaxy was finally listening. The stars around Meridian Drift had never looked so crowded. Ships filled the space like a moving city, lines of light forming and breaking as fleets arrived from many directions. Some vessels were sharp and dark, built for control and fear. Others were old, repaired many times, painted with symbols of hope, trade, or freedom. The station's sensors struggled to keep up. Inside the command level, tension pressed down on every breath. Elias Rose stood at the main viewport, hands clasped behind his back. He was not a soldier. He had never commanded a fleet. Yet in this moment, countless eyes across the galaxy were turned toward humans like him. Behind him, Queen Erin stood silent, watching the same stars. She looked calm, but Elias sensed deep focus in her stillness, like a storm held back by discipline. "They've surrounded us," a station officer said. "Not attacking, just waiting." "They want a reaction," Elias said. "They always do." Queen Erin nodded. "Empires fear silence more than threats." A message request flashed across the central screen. It came from the largest hostile fleet, representing the same empire that had tried to intimidate the station earlier. "They want to speak," the moderator said. Elias looked at Queen Erin. "Together?" he asked. She smiled slightly. "It would confuse them." "That might be useful." The channel opened. The image of the reptilian commander filled the screen, flanked by advisors. His expression was tight, controlled. "Humans," he said. "And Queen of Shadows, you stand at the center of a dangerous misunderstanding." "There is no misunderstanding," Queen Erin replied calmly. "Only the end of a long delay." The commander's eyes narrowed. "You hide behind humans, a species with no fleet worthy of respect." Elias stepped forward. "We don't hide," he said evenly. "We stand where we choose." The commander laughed. "You stand because others allow it." "That," Elias replied, "is no longer true." At that moment, new signals appeared on the sensor board. More ships arrived, but these did not form attack lines. Instead, they positioned themselves between the hostile fleets and the station. The commander's confidence faltered. "What is this?" Queen Erin spoke, her voice steady. "These are worlds you taxed, controlled, or ignored. Worlds that listened when humans spoke of choice." On the screen, several captains from different species activated their own channels. One by one, their images appeared. "We will not advance," said a crystalline being. "We refuse to fight for fear." "We remember who helped us rebuild," said another. "Humans asked for nothing." The reptilian commander slammed his fist down. "You would betray order for them." "For ourselves," came the reply. Elias felt a deep emotion rise in his chest: pride. Not loud or aggressive, but strong and steady. The commander leaned closer to the screen. "This changes nothing. Empires endure." Queen Erin met his gaze. "Not when the story ends." She raised her hand. A signal spread through the allied fleets. No weapons powered up. Instead, data streams flowed outward, broadcasting records, treaties, and forgotten histories across open channels. "What are you doing?" the commander demanded. Showing the truth, Queen Erin said. Every broken promise, every forced silence. Across the galaxy, worlds watched. Civilians, leaders, soldiers. Within the hostile fleets, movement began not forward but inward. Ships repositioned. Some powered down weapons. Elias watched in disbelief. They're stopping. Because humans taught them a question, Queen Erin said softly. Not who do we obey, but why. A tense hour passed. No one fired. No one spoke. Then slowly the hostile commander straightened. His voice, when he spoke again, was quieter. This engagement is suspended, he said. We will withdraw. The screen went dark. A breath was released across the command level. Some cheered softly. Others simply closed their eyes. Elias turned to Queen Erin. It's over, she shook her head. It has begun. Days passed. Meridian Drift became a place of meetings, not threats. Representatives from many worlds arrived to speak with humans and with Queen Erin. Old alliances were questioned. New ones were imagined. Elias worked until exhaustion, helping draft agreements based on mutual choice, not fear. Humans did not demand leadership. They offered partnership. That surprised everyone. One evening, Elias found Queen Erin alone at the viewport again. The galaxy is changing fast, he said. Yes, she replied. Faster than I hoped, slower than it must. He hesitated. Why protect us for so long? You could have revealed yourself earlier. She looked at him. Because humanity needed to believe its choices mattered even when no one was watching. Elias nodded slowly. You never asked us to serve you, he said. She smiled. Because then your kindness would have been duty, and duty fades. A message arrived on Elias' slate. Human colonies were reporting something new, not attacks, invitations, trade offers, cultural exchanges. They're reaching out, he said. As they always do, Queen Erin replied. Elias turned to her. Do you still need to protect us? She considered the stars. No, she said. Now I stand beside you. Elias smiled. That might be more dangerous. She laughed softly. Weeks later, the Allied fleets departed, leaving behind a changed balance. Meridian Drift returned to its quiet rhythm, but nothing was truly the same. On the final day before Queen Erin left the station, Elias walked with her one last time. Do you recognize me now? She asked, echoing her first question. Yes, Elias said. You're someone who believed in us before we believed in ourselves. She stopped and faced him. And you, Elias thought for a moment. I recognize what humans are, he said. Not rulers. Not conquerors. What then? Proof, he replied. That strength doesn't need permission. Queen Erin inclined her head, a gesture of respect. As her ship departed and stars folded into light, Elias watched with quiet certainty. The galaxy would never again ask if humans mattered. It would ask how it had ever doubted them at all.